Meow, meow, meow. Everybody, I'm Cantonese Cats. Hey everyone, Cantonese Cat here. I just want to embarrass myself by showing you two bullish setup right before earnings. Both these stocks I do own, Shopify and Affirm, and they're reporting tomorrow before the bell. So that probably means that they're going to tank 20% or something like that, just because I'm talking about a bullish setup. But hey, that's just the way it goes. It's not going to stop me from sharing you my thoughts. I'm never really shy to be wrong. I try to be right. I try to win, but hey, you can't win all the time. You don't try, you're just never going to get there, right? So this is the monthly chart of Shopify. I'm just going to simplify it from the all-time high over here, draw to the cycle low down here. You're going to see these Fibonacci levels. Very clear in terms of what's happening. Got rejected here at the 0.382 Fibonacci level. And then it's just been, basically folding between these two Fibonacci levels over here. If you put the Ichimoku cloud, you're going to see a lot more clearer picture. What happened is, in addition to being rejected at the 0.382, it also got really close to the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud over here in February and simply got rejected. It just basically went way too far, way too fast. So because of that, it kind of went back down, back tested the Tenkan. Tenkan back test is very important in terms of bull market, because the Tenkan is the blue line right here, because Tenkan is really the line that's going to drag the bull market up higher. As price goes up higher, the Tenkan is eventually going to serve as support, and it's going to want to use that as a support to bounce a lot higher. Once it tests the Tenkan enough, you find very, very good solid grounding, things can go pretty parabolic, right? So basically, you want Tenkan. Sometimes it can get bad and can backtest the Kijun, which is a red line underneath of it. But for the most part, bull market rise up along with Tenkan, right? So it's very important that we flipped the Tenkan from resistance over here to support. And it's been serving as support for over a year now. And it's very important that we're backtesting in Tenkan, which gives us a more solid grounding for any potential parabolic move up higher through the cloud. Go higher, right? Now, the resistance that you're seeing right around here is also, around this big volume shelf over here. So we do probably need some time to try to push above that. Hopefully we're going to get good earnings to try and push above the 0.382 Fibonacci level, potentially even get close to the top of the cloud again. Although I do not anticipate that to necessarily get to the top to the bottom of the cloud over here after earnings. There's also downside risks, right? What are the downside risks? Well, it right now is right here at around $77. It can potentially came back down to the Tenkan. Tenkan is around 68.5. Right, it can go down further if it was just an absolutely horrifying, earnings. You can go down further to like 60. You can go down further to this top of the volume shelf over here around 66. And it can even go down to the Kijun down here around 57.6, right? All these are possibilities. Do I count on that happening? No. But you have to kind of keep that in mind. And right now, again, it's just kind of like at the top of this volume shelf over here. So it is hitting some resistance. We'll see what happens with earnings. But that's the monthly chart here. Let me go ahead and switch over to the weekly and kind of show you what I've been kind of seeing. Why I think this is a bullish setup is because it's been making a lot of these, really bullish formations for over like 2 years now. I've been following this stock really ever since it started making this, inverted head and shoulder pattern. And sure enough, this inverted head and shoulder pattern had a back test, right? And the balance went up higher. And the next thing you know, it started forming something else. It started forming a little bit of a cup and handle pattern over here, right? Cup and handle pattern, right? And then it went back up higher, back tested this level, bounced, right? You thought that would have been it, and it would just keep going higher. Nope, it went down further. It broke down this line over here and went back and tested some of the liquidity down underneath. Found some pretty solid footing. Had a spring basically and bounced back up all the way up here, right? And as it bounced all the way up there, it's forming yet another bullish formation, which is yet another cup and handle pattern, where this is the bigger cup, and that right there is the handle, and it's basically going up, and it's basically back testing this right now, right? So far it's bouncing up, but it's not a very, very strong bounce. I think it's just been waiting for earnings to kind of see what's happening after that. If you're looking at the bull market support band, you can see that the band's just basically been kind of oscillating up and down with price. There's not really a clear trend right now. Price is literally stuck inside the bull market support band, which is not a bad look. If you pull all the other moving averages, you can see that it's still got a very, very nice trend. Basically, price got pretty close to the 50-week moving average and bounced up from that. And right now it's getting a little bit of resistance at like 20, which is flat. So we'll see whether or not we're able to kind of use earnings to kind of propel it upwards, right? If it goes up again, it could be towards like, this previous higher over here, maybe towards this volume shelf over here. If it goes down, I can see it potentially going down to like the 60s, right? So we'll see what happens there, but I find this to be a pretty bullish setup. It doesn't always have to work out, of course, but I just kind of want to share with you what I see. One more thing, if you look at the monthly, another reason why I've been really kind of bullish on this is if you look at a wealth fund flow indicator, the Black Hat L3 Banker Fund Flow Trend Oscillator, even though price just kind of gone sideways for months number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have a significant inflow in terms of, well inflow over here. This is pretty significant, compared to what price is doing. So that is getting me, feeling even, more bullish about the stock. So the probability of it going higher after earnings, to me, is higher than it tanking. But another reason why I think that is because the last earning really wasn't that bad at all. Like Shopify tends to do this fluctuating thing where one earning is going to be really good, another earning is going to tank, and then another earning is going to be really good, another earning is going to tank. And it's just basically kind of how Shopify has been reacting to earnings, even though earnings have been pretty decent throughout, the entire year. So anyway, that's Shopify. I'm going to move on to the next stock here, which I do own, which is AFRM. Again, I find this to be an extremely bullish setup, which means that it's probably going to tank from earnings, because that's just kind of how things go, right? Why am I bullish on AFRM? Because there's this big giant buy volume that pushed price all the way from less than $10 all the way up to $50. A huge volume, right? Huge volume. And then what happened afterwards when things just kind of went too far too fast? You want to have a little bit of a cool down, right? So bull flag over here on hugely declining volume with the selling volume really completely exhausted right around the low 30s. This is what I'm seeing, right? So when I see something like this with volume big going up, which this is a true move, a lot of people are really trying to get into the stock. A lot of big money trying to get into the stock. So that's a true move right there. And the false move is going to be this move downwards, right? Because it's on declining volume and it's just trying to flush all the sellers. So this to me is a very extremely, very pretty look here based on volume alone. And just like Shopify, what it's been doing, it's been forming a handle to complete this cup and handle pattern. Nobody really knows how far down this handle is going to go. It could go all the way down to like 4. No, I'm just kidding. It won't. But it can probably end around here, like in the 30 range, somewhere around there. You do have some horizontal support over here too, right? So if you look over at the volume shelf, you can also see, right around here, you're basically finding support around these, smaller volume shelves over here. Could it go down all the way to like 25? Could it go down all the way to like 27? Sure, it's a possibility. I think that the fact that price just kind of gone down like this for like 4 months straight on low volume probably have exhausted a lot of the sellers. So there's a possibility that, I don't know anything. I'm not an insider. I don't know anything. There's a possibility that the AFRM earnings could not be that great and this stock could still end up bouncing. Although I'm not sure, because it's been bouncing from like 30 to 34 within just this, past week and a half alone. So it's a little bit of I'm not sure. You have to kind of look into, even if it goes down. I have a hard time seeing it go down on like really huge volume, but it could, right? And if it breaks down on high volume, then yeah, it's going to hit these 27, 25 targets, no problem. Like it's going to end up hitting that. And it's going to find some pretty decent support here too, right? But because of this big giant buy volume and significant decline sell volume, I think this handle right here is probably already have ended. And I think that most likely is going to end up bouncing up. And once it breaks this cup and handle pattern over here, it could go up a lot higher real quick, because it's been consolidating here for almost decades now. So looking at the Ichimoku cloud, what you're seeing here, there's not much cloud to look at quite just yet, because the stock really hasn't been around for that long. But what you're really seeing here is you're seeing a tick and kitchen cross. This is just a bullish cross. And when you have this bullish cross, it can signify that you have a beginning of a more sustainable bull trend. And really what you've been doing for the stock has been trying to find higher high, higher low, higher high. It's been trying to find a higher low right here, right? In confluence with this Kijun and Tikin levels. And so far, the month of May, we have been able to bounce back above Tenkan for now. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with earnings. Tenkan is 34.23. So right now, price is close to 35 bucks, right? Could it end up going up a lot higher from here? That's certainly a possibility. Certainly look like that's what the setup wants to do. But I don't know how crappy the earnings could be. Like it could be just there's a consumer recession and a firm is just a dumb play. There's always that possibility. Although they've been talking about recessions for about like 2 years now, and it still hasn't really truly happened. So I don't know how what to expect per se from earnings. But based on what I'm seeing, based on volume, I think that there's whoever's left here is going to be pretty strong hands. And the stock, there's a possibility for it to kind of bounce up from here based on the setup. Now, looking at the Bollinger Bands, you can also see 20-month moving average is pointing up. Same thing for Shopify, by the way. I didn't really show the Bollinger Band, but that's kind of what Shopify is doing. 20-month moving average pointing up. This is still a bull trend. As far as I'm concerned, if you look at a weekly, it's going to be a lot more apparent for you. I mean, if you look at a weekly, you can see how crazy these buy volumes are and how crazy these sell volumes are just plummeting. Like nobody really wants to sell this stock. It's just kind of going down a low volume. But if you look at the trend, you put out the 20, 50, and 100 of the weekly, you can see that they're all stacking the right way. This is a very, very nice bull trend, right? You're not going to get too much from the weekly Ichimoku cloud. It's above the cloud too. I think it could potentially bounce to the bottom of the cloud before going up. There's always that possibility. But I think it's already corrected enough just looking at the volume. And it looks like it just wants to potentially bounce up from here on any potential good news. If I look at the 2-week, you look at Ichimoku cloud, it's basically just telling you, yeah, things just kind of got inside the cloud here, bounced off the Kijun, it's just kind of somewhere in the middle. So the top of the cloud is like 90, 95, 93, somewhere around there. That would be like my target if, ultimately if things work out well, that would be probably where I think a firm would end up going. But again, this is a very, very, how should I say that? It's a very risk-on type stock, or rate-sensitive stock, or it's very speculative type stock. So it's going to have some pretty volatile move one way or another. I do not know which way it's going to go for sure. Based on everything that I'm seeing, based on volume, I think it's going to go up. So there you have it. I have both of these. We'll see how it goes with earnings tomorrow. And if they end up tanking, I'm going to keep holding unless if there's anything that I see troubling in terms of breakdown of fundamentals or in terms of breakdown of technicals. But right now, even if it hits my lower targets, it would still not be a breakdown of technicals as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see what happens. Take care. Bye.